Good morning and welcome back to another beautiful weekly update here at Scenic Riverside Boatyard and Marina. All right, today is Thursday, March 24th, bright and early in the morning, getting at it, doing the boat projects, getting things done. Let's see what it's been because I have been busy this week. First project, look at this beautiful cockpit. Yesterday I removed the tape on everything after painting it, and I gotta say, it looks beautiful. It feels really nice. It's just gorgeous. Now, I haven't removed all of the tape everywhere here, but generally speaking, I'm just over the moon. As well, because I took the time and I redid my teak, which wasn't really all that difficult. It just took a little bit of time, but it just looks fantastic. I'm really, really happy with this. I can't wait to get the boat cushions into here that I'm gonna be making similar to last year. They're only gonna cost me maybe $200 at most. I'll show you guys more about that later, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way the cockpit turned out. I'm gonna be spending quite a bit of time in here, so that's a good thing. And yeah, I'm happy also to be done painting because painting takes quite a bit of time. Now, I still have to take off the tape up here. I'm waiting really just because I've been doing other stuff, and I'm not quite sure if I want to do any more layers of paint. I think I'm good, but I just figured I could always take off the tape, but it'd be a real pain to have to put it right back on. All right, on to the next project. The anchor is now back up in its rightful place with a new anchor swiveling shackle, stainless steel, threaded Loctite onto there, and then look at this, folks. Beautiful 200 feet of brand new galvanized 5/16 anchor chain. As I've told you guys, this gypsy for this windlass is made for 3/8" chain, but it just happens to fit 5/16 proof coil. So that's what I've got in here. And yeah, now there isn't a secondary shackle that I have to put in between that I have to worry about. And now the shackle up there is a much tighter, much stronger one. So I'm really happy that I've got all that taken care of. It's just kind of one of those projects, it's pretty easy if it goes well, which it did, but you never know when something's not gonna line up or it doesn't quite fit the way you thought it would. That's a little bit what happened right there on the gypsy when I go to pull this in tight, because normally I had 30 feet of 3/8" chain and that would snug a lot tighter than this 5/16 does. Kind of confusing to say all these numbers. But long story short, it works, and I'm very happy now because I could be in the water and I could put my anchor down and I could effectively cruise, more or less. But I'll show you guys what else I've been up to this week. It's been getting hotter and hotter here, so I've really been feeling the desire to get out of here. Desire to get back out on the adventure, on the water, doing the fun stuff, the stuff that I love. So I thought, you know what? Then now that I'm done painting and I've got the anchor chain and everything else, I need to start painting the bottom of my boat ASAP. I need to get this done. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm treating my keel. The keel, which is solid steel, will rust in like 2 seconds if you leave it exposed. So right now I have about, let's call it 1.5 layers of epoxy bottom paint on there, an epoxy primer. It's a 2-part mixture. It smells terrible, I have to wear a respirator. But the stuff is tough as nails. It will prevent, now this is a newer technology, so it will prevent boat blisters, which is what all of these are. So that's why it's so important to have it on here. You can see some of the rust is bleeding through. And what I need to do for that is just put on the next layer. 2 layers should seal up most of it. And I plan on doing 2 layers on just the keel and then 3 layers on the whole bottom of the boat. So it'll be 5 layers on the keel, 3 layers on the rest of the hull. That should keep everything sealed up nice and tight. Next thing I did, and I did this yesterday in about 5 minutes. I was dreading doing it. I was super nervous. Ended up being really easy. You just gotta go for some of these things. But boom, no more propeller. Got that off super quick, super easy. I didn't even have to break anything. And now this is gonna be, my propeller's getting looked at by some professionals, and hopefully they can refurbish my propeller. I've gone through all of my options, which are refurbishing my 2-blade, a new 2-blade, a new 3-blade, a feathering prop, a folding prop. Those are pretty much the 5 options I've got to work with. And at the moment, I really like the idea of just refurbishing this one for a couple reasons. One, it's super cheap, which I like a lot. But the main one is, the big reason is it's reliable. I know a two-blade, I know that two-blade prop works for this boat. I know it's reliable. I know, I just know it. I know how it's gonna handle. I know it's not gonna be great at the dock for backing up, especially. A tri-blade would be much better than that. Even a feathering prop, no, a folding prop would be even better. But the two-blade out in the open ocean is, well, it doesn't have as much friction in the water as a three-blade would. The three-blade would be a lot more drag. It's going to be more reliable though. You know, in a couple years, the moving parts of a feathering or folding prop, they could break. But a solid two-blade, it's not going to go anywhere. And if for some reason it did, if I did bend it and I'm out at Pitcairn Island in the middle of the Pacific, with enough time and sweat and tears, I could bend it back. I could hit it with enough rocks or a hammer or whatever, and I could get the prop back to how it's supposed to be, which is kind of a cool thing. So I'm spending a lot of time thinking about that and how I'm gonna manage all of that. But anyway, so it's been pretty good. Other really cool update is yesterday I had over some fans to the boat. I got a message from a woman named Amanda. She's a mom of two 13-year-old kids, and she sent me one of the best messages I've ever gotten, which basically read, "We'd love to meet you, we're fans. We can bring you alcohol. I don't drink, so I would have had to say no to that." Then she said, "Or I can bring you baked ziti." And I said, "Yes, I would love to meet you guys." And of course, the baked ziti is a little bit of a perk. So I had them here yesterday evening, and we're sitting up in the cockpit. We got to talk all about what they're doing, their cruising plan, where they're going to go in the Bahamas, everything. They were just a delight to talk to and to get to meet, so it's been really nice. Lately I've been able to meet a lot of fans, and I've also gotten some new patrons, which I'm very excited about. I just hit 10 patrons on my Patreon account, which is a nice little milestone. Oh, I also hit 1 million views on the YouTube channel, so thank you guys very much for contributing to that. That's a big one. And the other metric I thought was really cool is I looked at my channel's watch time. YouTube gives you all these different analytics. They're really interesting to look through and see what you could be doing different, how you can improve, or just to look at. They're just really, really cool. So one of the metrics they showed me is my total watch time on the channel. And the total watch time for my channel was 15 years. That means that, you know, if you watch a video for 1 minute, that counts for 1 minute towards the watch time. If you watch it for an hour and so on. There was 136,000 hours, so I did the math out, and that's 15 years of watch time. That's pretty cool. But honestly, I would say I'm more excited about my Patreon. It's a newer concept, and I just think it's a great way for fans to be able to get a little bit closer, to be able to talk to them more on a one-to-one. I do a separate video just for my patrons every week. I film it just before I film this one, and they get a more in-depth inside scoop as to what I'm doing. But really the main thing is they're able to support me. They're able to support what I'm doing on a more direct level, and I really appreciate that. So a major shout out. This week I have 3 new patrons that I wanna highlight. First off, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad are now patrons, and I love it. They were asking me, "What is this Patreon thing, Daniel? How does this all work?" And it was great. It's great to have them on board. It's great to have them there with everything. As well, Amy Angleton. And then, I think actually I might have mentioned them, but last week I got Ken and Christine Birkenshire, and they've been huge helps to me anyway. They're actually, they have a boat nearby, and they've helped me out quite a bit while I've been around the area. But also I want to say a huge shout out to all my other patrons who have been there for a while, like Dustin Holland. I think he's been my longest and biggest supporter. Big thank you, Dustin. Really, really appreciate your help, man. David Page, he's come by the boat. I've gotten to meet him and go out to dinner with him, and he's a great guy as well. Renee Chai, Todd Howman, Jeff Vandermeed, Roland with the Tide, and Alexander Taylor. I believe Alexander Taylor is my longest patron. Thank you guys all so much. I really appreciate it. Really excited to see what we're gonna get up to next, what you guys are all contributing to. So thank you so much. This helps me get new camera gear, or, I mean, a propeller. It might end up being a $4,000 folding propeller. I don't really know yet. We're kind of finding it all out. But anyway, it's been a busy week. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next week.